Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Your Delusional podcast hosted by myself, LaTerra Wair. Hi guys! Hello. It is a new week. Hi, I hope you guys are having a great week. I'm coming back to you guys off of a birthday week, and your girl is officially 26. I talked to you guys about how I was going to be turning 26, all that fun stuff. I turned 26. I had a great birthday, ate some great food, was surrounded by really good people. There are some things, two things. I promised you guys changes that you would see. One of the changes is not done yet. And the second change is done. And I would love y'all's opinion on it. I've been going through this kind of thing with just like trying to get myself and get media to where I want it to be. I told you guys this, I expressed this, all this kind of stuff, whatever. I took up my birthday photos and, then when I posted one of them to just show a link, I was talking to my mans and I was like, hey, this looks really good. Or me personally, I really like the aesthetic of this post I just made. And he was like, no, yeah, it looks really cool. I can't lie to you. And you know me, I love a good hype. I was like, okay. And also, y'all, my voice is kind of raspy. This is the first time I'm talking today. Just saying that. She'll lighten up as we go through. But yeah, so he gave me that little hype and I was like, okay, that's all I needed, duh. And I went in and I designed new podcast cover art. So welcome to the first episode of season 3 of the Your Delusional podcast. For season 3, there is no theme. You know, the podcast is really just about like living life in your 20s and not self-exploration. That sounds like we're doing weird stuff, but like just living life in your 20s and like figuring stuff out and just feeling like you have community. You know what I mean? You guys feel like community to me, I guess is the best way to put that. So I want to be here to allow you guys that same thing and just like allow you guys to hear more things or more questions and all that kind of stuff that you may be concerned about. And I'm just sharing my life. Like this is the actual unfiltered, this isn't like edited YouTube life. This is just me sitting here on the green couch chatting it up. I've decided that I'm going to start like a new season of the podcast every year that I get older type of situation, because starting a new season at the beginning of the year is fun and everything like that, but also doing a lot at the beginning of the year. You guys would please look at the new cover art. Let me know what you guys think of it. Let me know if you just think it's cute. I think it's cute. It's here to stay, at least for the next year. But lastly, this week, I've been up to school. Guys, I started financial accounting for managers this class, and it's not a hard class, like at all, but I got the wrong textbook and then I had to send my textbook back. And then it has this like little connect thing. And why are textbooks $200? I'm sick. Like, I remember that in school, but back then I could get a textbook, and I think my most expensive textbook in undergrad was probably like $90, and that was for like a senior level class. Why are textbooks $200? That's my question. Got the wrong textbook because on the website, like the slight differences in the textbooks are not what the teacher was meaning. So I had to go and get a real specific thing. And because of that, I'm like a week behind, but we're only in week 2. So that's what I'm doing right now. That's how school is kind of going. Y'all, I really do love school. I really love learning just new things. I would love to learn things more about like what I care more about in marketing and all that kind of stuff. But these like classes that I'm learning stuff on, they're super cool. It's really interesting kind of stuff, learning how people do like finances, and I'm learning like reports and statements and all this kind of stuff right now. That was my week. I hope that y'all's last week has been very fun, very fresh, very fulfilling. And we're going to hop right into the episode. I was in the bathroom the other day, just kind of thinking about, I think I was listening to a podcast, and then they were talking about like people who you like look up to in life and stuff like that. And then the idea came into my head where people say never meet your heroes. I think that that's always been such an interesting concept to me, because growing up, I didn't understand really like what the idea of a hero was. On no like sad-ish, I think that I've really just like I romanticize a lot of things, right? I'm a girl. I'm just a girl. I'm gonna romanticize stuff, whatever. Um but I think I've never just like romanticized people or even like comics and stuff like that. Like, I'm not a big superheroes and villains person. I prefer a villain over a hero, to be very honest with you. I think that growing up, I've always like just seen superheroes and just thought like they're super because of these powers, not necessarily super because of like their characteristics. But a lot of superheroes do have great like personality traits, and they have great characteristics about them that make them also a super person, you know? But I don't think that I understood that until later, and I was understanding like sacrifices and all this kind of stuff that superheroes do, which makes them so great. So I'll just say that moving into like real adult life, or just like real life, like away from movies and stuff, I really was just like, I don't have a hero. Like, even as I got older, I did not have a hero. And I thought that concept was very interesting because what defines a hero? For me, I think someone's hero is defined by like their character, defined by their actions, how they treat people and everything like that. Like, are they a truly good person? Are you like the overall hero of a story? Because there are people in life who like, they don't like, you know how people say not all, I say this a lot, not all heroes wear capes or whatever. That is true to me. There are people in life who are legitly heroes in like the term of it, and they're great people. They do great things. They stand on great characteristics and morals and all this kind of stuff. And those are what I would think is heroes. I think that should be someone's hero, because I personally feel like a hero is someone who's supposed to promote you to be the best possible thing that you can be, and they encourage you and they like give you this drive in yourself, because you as a person want to also embody what they are showing you. To me, that's what I always thought a hero to be. And I looked around, and this is no shade or nothing to nobody, because it's gonna come off shady, but I looked around and there was no one that like I wanted to be. And I think that I have that issue quite a lot, especially when it comes to people's perception of me and perceiving like how I am as a person. I think I'm a very hands-off type of person. Like, I let people really be as they want and whatever. And, you know, people do as they please, but I'm very observant in that as well. And I think that looking around and seeing everyone just be who they truly are, there's no one I wanted to be. There's no one who like, how do I say this? Like, there are people who I looked up to, and people who like, there was a personality trait here or there that I really admired. As an overall, there was not a single person that I looked at. Like, I didn't look at Susan, who does amazing stuff down the street, and I'm like, damn, I really want to be like Susan. That's my hero. You know what I mean? Like, no, I just never got to that phase in life. And so hearing people like talk about their heroes, or hearing people talk about like people they admire, was always so interesting for me, because I just never felt that same way at all. I really never felt that same way. I was like, no, I think someone's cool, but like, I didn't have a hero. I didn't have like someone I really like looked up to or anything. And then I keep going throughout life, and then I start to think about the idea of like idolizing someone, and that growing envious tendencies, and then you admiring someone and respecting someone, and like you also want to have traits like this. And I think that is a hard line to understand sometimes, but idolizing a person, I don't think is safe in like the long run, because idolizing could just turn into like really negative things. Because if you idolize someone, like when I say idolize, I mean like you put them as like the pinnacle, like they are everything. You want to be like them so bad. Perfect example. If you've ever seen The Incredibles, Buddy idolized Mr. Incredible, and then he met his hero and turned into a villain, because he realized this is not the person who he thought he was. He idolized him for like the wrong things. In the situation, Mr. Incredible was like tweaking, but not tweaking, but tweaking. But he had places to be, this kid, whatever. But for this kid, this is everything to him. He's his superhero and everything like that. And that was a big turning point in the story. And I think that in life, that's a big turning point in a lot of people's stories when they do meet their heroes. And then it kind of makes them a little sad because they're like, this person who I idolized my whole life is not that person. And I'm like, yeah. And I think that's a one-way ticket to being disappointed. It wasn't for me idolizing or just having an idol or anything like that, or having a hero. Like, even as I got older and I got into like more sports and stuff like that, someone who I love to this day is Miss Serena Williams. Even when I loved Serena Williams, I drew a lot of inspiration from her. She inspired me. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I want to be like her. I want to look like her. I want to, you know what I mean? It was more so just like you inspire me to be the best at what I'm doing. You inspire me to push forward, inspire me to speak up against things that aren't right. And you inspire me to keep going even when like no one's on your side. Those are things that to me make up a hero. And those are things to me that like, I don't know enough about Serena Williams, I guess, for her to be my hero, but she does inspire me. The things that I do know about her, she's an inspirational woman. I believe that's as far as I went with having a hero, especially as an adult. Very recently, a couple of weeks ago, there was, I forget who it was at this moment, but there was someone who they said something, and in my heart, I finally knew what it was like to have a hero, I guess. I knew what it was like to have someone who I was like, oh my gosh, I would want to be like them when I grow up. And that moment coming at 25 is crazy, right? Coming at 25 is insane because it's the first time in my life I've had someone who I'm like, dang, like, I do think that I would want to be like you when I grow up. Like, I love the life that you live. The depth, this more stuff that I knew about this person, I knew that it's not like this fake transaction. Like, this is really how they live their life. This is really what they do. And that brought me a lot of comfort. And I was like, wow, I could do this. Like, this is something that you were showing me is a great like light, a great way. And I think that that is amazing. That's such a blessing for me personally, because the way my brain works, the older I get, I know that it's probably going to be harder and harder for me to find someone that inspires me without like having a good search. And sometimes it's kind of hard because there are people whose lives around me and I'm like, I don't want your life, and I don't really respect the life that you lead. Me saying I don't respect the life someone leads doesn't mean that I'm ever gonna like be disrespectful and comment about their life choices, and if like not ask or anything like that. I'm not a give unsolicited advice type of person. If they try to give me advice, I will not take it, because I personally feel like if someone I'm watching them make 1,010 bad choices and then they try and give me advice, I don't think it would be right of me to take advice because I have seen where your own thoughts have led you, you know? So it's kind of that type of thing. So it's a little harder to find heroes as like you're growing up, or just find inspiration within people as you're growing up. Matthew McConaughey, he is someone who actually, he is one of my inspirations. He is a huge one of my inspirations. I think that he's done amazing things. I think that he's a good person and all this kind of stuff. And if I were to want to meet someone before they pass, I would love to meet him. I would love to meet like Jim Carrey. I would love to meet Cheryl. So many people, right? Because they do inspire me at an older age, and they make me like really understand that you have to push forward for things. I'm yapping. Matthew McConaughey, he made this, he did this speech at his award show. Now, and to my hero, that's who I chase. Now, when I was 15 years old, I had a very important person in my life come to me and say, who's my hero? And I said, I don't know. I got to think about it. Give me a couple weeks. I come back 2 weeks later. The same person comes up and says, who's your hero? I said, I thought about it. You know who it is? I said, it's me in 10 years. So I turned 25. 10 years later, that same person comes to me and goes, so are you your hero? And I said, not even close. No. She said, why? I said, because my hero is going to be me at 35. So every day, every week, every month, And every year of my life, my hero is always 10 years away. I'm never going to be my hero. I'm not going to attain that. I know I'm not. And that's just fine with me because that keeps me with somebody to keep on chasing. So to any of us, whatever those things are, whatever it is we look up to, whatever it is we look forward to, and whoever it is we're chasing, to that I say amen. Or something that just really resonated with me in that is that his hero is himself. As I've gotten older, I've realized that my hero is me. And that pushes us into topic 2 of how I became. So I told you guys the whole setup in the beginning to explain how it's really hard for me to find a hero. I think that it's important for a person to have someone that they look up to in this life and have someone that they like sought to be like, or that inspires them, because it helps you progress in being a better person. It helps your evolution as a person. I personally think, in looking at that and telling you guys that I couldn't find a hero, I'm lacking, right? And something that's important to me. And so after I heard Matthew McConaughey's speech, I got really inspired and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm my hero, right? Like, I can be my hero. I think that I go so hard personally because I want to make myself happy. And that's something that's just the truth as long as time has been. I pour so much of myself and my efforts into things that no one else cares about except me, because that's all that matters. Because I want to be happy, because I care about these things, and that's what brings me joy and happiness. That's all to it. I became my own. I became the person that I was looking for. I love that. So in order to do all that, I kind of just I sat down and I pulled a little life evaluation. I evaluated my finances, my family, and my future. So in saying that, I'm saying that one of the biggest things with people in our country, in my country, I should say, finances, and just how your life can completely change by one bill. I just didn't want that. I didn't want that to be the end all be all to you know what I'm saying? I just didn't want that to be my downfall, I guess. I didn't want any of these 3 core things to be my downfall. So I had to look at them and I had to evaluate them. I set up a financial plan for myself. I looked at my family and those around me. And this was one of the biggest things. I looked at my family and those around me, and I just I gained this rush of inspiration because I was like, I want to be the person that we don't have. I want to be the person that we've never seen. I want to be the person that inspires y'all to be the best version of yourselves. And that's going to keep me going. That's going to push me. That's going to inspire me. That's what I did. You know, I looked at the future as well. And I was like, what do I want to have accomplished? What is going to make me feel the most successful? And that's what I set into motion. I had my life outline. I set out what I wanted to do and the things that were kind of non-negotiables for me. I had to understand what makes someone so grand to me, and then I set up a way for myself to be like that for me. If I look at myself, I'm everything that I want to be on paper, right? I'm everything that I want to be mentally. I'm everything that I want to be physically. And moving forward from that, kind of in the process of me evaluating all that kind of stuff, a couple years go by or months go by or whatever, whenever I did all this, and my beautiful Malia was born, my niece. She came into my life, and I don't think I've talked about this. I think I've talked about this a little bit, but when my niece was born, I was not in a good relationship at all. Literally at all. And it caused me a lot of mental trauma. A lot of mental trauma from this relationship, I would say. If you guys ever go to my Instagram and you see this post, I wrote a message to my niece and I told her that I hope that one day I get to tell her how she saved my life. And this is what I mean by that. When my niece was born, I looked around at my partner at the time and I was just like, I don't want my niece to see this. I don't want my niece to see me living through this type of situation, because I don't want her to think that this is okay. that gave me a lot of strength and a lot of courage to make a lot of the choices that I did, and to eventually just end up kind of like ending things in the relationship. When I say that, I thought to myself, like, I don't want to be the person who I think like not badly about, but I have negative connotation about. I never want my niece to look at me when I'm giving her advice and her be like, I can't take your advice because you live this kind of life. That personally eats at me. I know it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, I guess, but it does matter to me. And that was enough to like make me change a lot of stuff in my life, like make me leave this relationship I had been in for like a bit of time and all this kind of stuff, because I was like, bro, like, you can't be someone's hero that way. You can't be your own hero that way. I wasn't my own hero that way. I was like, I was not happy. I was just not satisfied and not a hero like specimen, if you want to put it that way. After my niece like brought that spark of inspiration to me, then I went further. And then I was like, why can't, if I could do this and this changes my whole perspective of me and changes my whole view on everything else, like, why can I not change everything that I want to change? Why can I not remove every single obstacle in my life until I am my own hero, until I am this person? And slowly I started to do that, guys. I slowly started to change things about me, like internally. I changed a lot of the way I thought about things. I changed my mindset. My physical appearance changed a little bit, right? And all these kinds of things. And I really sought after and I worked after being this hero that I needed to be for my story. I realized that a lot of the stuff that, a lot of the choices that we make are choices that we are making. And a lot of the bad things that were like happening were results of my own choices, right? And so I'm like, bro, you're actively being the villain in your story when you want to be the hero, when you want to be something that like is that beacon of light that keeps you going every morning, that keeps you getting up every morning. When I realized that and made those choices, it was so much easier for me. I could wake up at 5 a.m, and not because I wanted to or not because I had to, but because I wanted to be this person that I wanted to be so bad. I wanted to be this hero of my life, this hero of my story. And I wanted to know that I did all of that because I could, because I was inspired, and I want to let that story be my story. I want to let that story be like the legacy that I present forward to other people. And I do hope that the things that I do inspire people. And I hope that the things that I do really like just show people that you could do anything that you want to do. You could be anybody that you want to be. Like the person that you are is who you are, you know? And that's the point I'm trying to make here. The person that you are is you. You can be your own hero. You don't have to wait to find someone. You don't have to look around and wait for them to walk past you so you could see everything that they're doing and be like, wow, that's them. Start with yourself. Start with the things that you can change, and start with being the person that you want to see. That's like such a big takeaway from this whole thing. And that's something that's reoccurring just right now is like, when I grow up, I like, be the person that you needed for yourself when you were a child. This me right now, also, I talked about this a little bit last week. The woman that I am now is everything that I needed to be back then. I needed who I am now as a kid. I'm the person who I developed and who I worked on so much. Like, she is everything that I was lacking as a kid. And of course, like, you know, those are things that you work on as the stuff that you did not have. But she is so much, I say she is me. I was so like specific about the skills that I wanted, the person I wanted to be. And this me is now the woman who I present to all my little cousins. This woman is the person who I present to all my younger friends. And I love that. I love being me, and I love being able to inspire people and just being the person that I am and giving people that little glimpse of hope. When people send me messages and they tell me that I'm what inspires them, I'm what keeps them going, it melts my heart. I could cry right now. My face just got that little flushy feeling, and I'm like, no, dude, like that means so much to me because I worked so hard to be this person, physically, mentally, emotionally. I tried really, really hard to work and develop my character to a point that I can be there and I can present myself and I can inspire other young people or people that are younger than me to be happy and to seek after everything that they want to do. And I'm not saying that like I'm anyone's hero or nothing like that. I want to carve out a lane to show people that you can be your own hero and that you can inspire yourself. And in inspiring yourself, you can inspire so many other people around you. There are things that I just do with like media, like on a small scale, that I'm doing to just try some stuff out, and people tell me that this is something like they're so inspired. They feel like I'm going so hard and this and this. And to me, I'm like, yeah, like I'm trying to go hard or whatever, but like also this is just what I want to do. Like this is just like there is a certain discipline that comes with it at a point, right? That is one of the hardest traits that I didn't see growing up that I had to learn is discipline. I didn't start seeing discipline honestly until I got to high school and I met my tennis coach, Leslie Crook. Shout out to her. She taught me at that age that there are things that you don't want to do, but you do it because it's what you should be. She would tell us this story about how she would go and run like 17 to 18 miles every other day. And not because she had to do it. She plays tennis. Tennis is like a game of like stamina and stuff like that. But like 18 miles can be excessive. That's excessive, is the point. But she was doing this to be disciplined. She was doing this to show herself that she could do this, and it's because something she said she would do. And like, that's a hero. That's a heroic trait in you to teach someone discipline and to verbatim tell me that you're doing this not because you have to, but because you said that you would. You know what I mean? Like that showed me that everyday people, like not all heroes wear capes, guys. Not all heroes wear capes at all. This whole thing has like just kind of showed me, and I want to express to you guys, like, never be afraid to be yourself. Never be afraid to inspire yourself and to push out what you're doing because you never know who's watching you. You should just never be afraid to go after what you want to, because even though sometimes it feels like no one's looking, and even if no one's looking, you should never be afraid to inspire, because for someone else, it could be you. Like you could be their hero and you have no clue. And that's what I've learned. I've learned that I wanted to be my own hero so bad. And through that, I became this person to so many people. And I never knew I was this person to these people. I never knew that these people are like looking at my path and looking at the stuff that I'm doing and drawing from that. Because for me, I wasn't doing it for that reason. I was doing it for me. I was doing it for myself to be this person that I didn't see because I needed that person. There's an inspiration in that. And you guys always think about that. Keep that in the back of your head. You could be inspiring people. Even though you don't feel like it or you may not feel like it, it might be you for somebody. And that's such a beautiful thing. Moving into our You're Delusional topic. The You're Delusional topic is a statement that I hear throughout the week, and I just want to get you guys' take on it. So the You're Delusional topic this week, it was sent in, and it says, comparison is the thief of joy. If I'm going to pick a side, yes. I think comparison is the thief of joy. I think that when you compare things to a certain point, it just gets to be a lot, and it can start to make you feel sad or depleted because you can just get to this point where you're like, my work isn't as good as someone's work or whatever. My efforts aren't as good as someone's efforts, whatever it may be. And it's not always about that. Sometimes it's just about the effort. Sometimes it's just about the work, and you will grow. You will get better. That's what practice is about. That's what time is about. And so if you compare your day 1 to someone else's like day 600, you're gonna get discouraged because they could have started on day 1 too. I think that comparison though is good for inspiration. Sometimes I think that it's nice to compare and to draw inspo from someone's things, but not compared into a way of like weighing one thing against another, because yeah, that just takes away from the joy of what you're doing. But that's what I think. Let me know what you guys think. Do you believe that comparison is the thief of joy? Why or why not? Let me know in the comments. And moving into our what we watching. So guys, I'm watching two things. I'm going to tell you guys about the next thing next week, or the first thing next week. But this week, I want to tell you guys about this Netflix show I'm watching called Extrant or Extrant. I believe it's called Extrant. It's a series that's on Netflix. It has Halle Berry in it, this man who I see in all these movies and I can't remember his name. And then also it has the other guy who I see in all these movies, can't remember his name. Basically, Halle Berry's an astronaut. She goes up to space on this solo mission. The story starts when she comes down from space. She's been up there for 13 months, 14 months, somewhere like that. And then she's pregnant with this alien, or she's pregnant with this baby that turns out to be an alien. No one knows anything about it. And then as the show goes on, you realize that there's stuff going on with this alien pregnancy that they have known about the entire time. Like the scientists and the space team that she works for. And then also while this is going on, her husband, he is at home and he's a scientist as well. And he basically has created the first humanoid, and his name is Ethan. Ethan is like this little kid. He's a robot, and they're trying to basically develop him to have a consciousness and all this kind of stuff. And it just goes throughout this journey about like family and secrets and just crazy conspiracy things. And they're working on like immortality and all this kind of stuff. But that is what I'm watching. I'm really into it. I'm on like episode 8 right now, the first season. There's only 2 seasons, but hopefully it ends well. I'll come back to give you guys a little catch up on it. Please let me know what you guys are watching. Give me some show recommendations, all that kind of stuff in the comments below. Halloween is also coming up. Drop them Halloween movies in the comments, please. I love a good scary movie. I love a good Halloween movie. My man loved to talk to me about how I say I love scary movies, but also, look, possession movies, they be scaring me sometimes. I don't like Exorcist type of possession movies where like they backs be cracking and, doing, that's not my ish. If you drop it below, I will try to give it a watch. So let me know what you guys are watching. And with all that being said, that is the end of this episode. Thank y'all so much for joining me for another episode of the Your Delusional podcast. Please be sure to rate our show. If you're an audio listener on Spotify or Apple, rate it up above. And if you are a watcher, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know how we are doing. If you're interested in following for more behind the scenes, you can follow our production company at LT Legacy Productions. And if you're interested about what I do on my day-to-day, my keys, my apps, my all that kind of stuff, you can follow me at the LaTerra Wair on Instagram or on Twitter. With all that being said, thank you guys so much, and I will see you next week. Bye. Your Delusional podcast is produced by LT Legacy Productions and hosted by LaTerra Wair.